Hi, I'm Johnny, and this is Off the Beaten Trail, and today I'm talking to you about Tishomingo County. So, I know that it's not a Tuesday, and that's normally when I post, but I definitely wanted to talk about the Tishomingo County area, and so this is just going to be another bonus video. I'm probably going to start putting a few extra bonus videos in my channel here and there, and I'm going to start a bonus video playlist so that way whenever I do give you a bonus video, it won't distract from the segment. But this bonus video does have to do with my Mississippi segment because I'm talking to you about Tishomingo County, Mississippi, and that is the next area that I'm going to be going in my channel, and I really wanted to discuss it because it is the highest area in Mississippi. It's the highest county in Mississippi. So as I've already discussed with you, Mississippi has a relatively low elevation. Now, it does get about 400 feet throughout most of the state, but the majority of the state does not get higher than that. And so the cool thing about Tishomingo County is that's where you can find the highest heights in Mississippi. That's where Mount Woodall is, the highest point in Mississippi, which is over 800 feet. And that's also where you have the Tennessee River and a lot of large bluffs that are very rocky due to the Appalachian foothills. It definitely is my favorite county in Mississippi. It doesn't seem like Mississippi at all. It seems more like Tennessee or Upper Alabama. And even though you can get high heights throughout other areas in Mississippi, they're not as rocky as this particular county is. It seems more mountainous, like the highlands of Mississippi. One thing I like to look at when I think about a state is I like to look at its lowest elevation points and its highest elevation points because I like to think of a state as a country. A lot of the U.S. states are about the size of countries themselves, and I think about, what if this were its own country and it was just in a alliance with other states, and that's what the United States were. And so I think about what it would be like living only in Mississippi, and I think that you have to have a little bit of pride in the state that you live in, and Mississippi has a lot of unique things. If we couldn't easily leave Mississippi, then where would be the places that we would go to for our sightseeing and our most pristine, beautiful locations here in this state? I definitely think that Tishomingo County would be a major tourist destination if that were the case. And I still think that people that take pride in their state should look at it in a similar light and think about Tishomingo County because it has a lot to offer when it comes to nature. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing during this video is I'm going to be talking to you about the different elevations you can find throughout Mississippi. It's very common to find elevations around about 400 feet throughout the state, even in the lower areas. Red Bluff, this area that I took you before in my previous videos, has an elevation of about 400 feet. It may get a little bit higher, but I do know it gets up to 400 feet. And you have a lot of different areas like the Clark Creek Natural Area. That area also has an elevation of about 400 feet. Even around Rodney, you have elevations of around 400 feet. So throughout most of the state, you do have elevations around 400 feet. Now, the Jackson area down to Rodney, even off of the coast of Louisiana, not actually on the landmass of Louisiana, but off of the coast of Louisiana, you see an area that once was an active volcanic fault line, and there were very many volcanoes that had existed throughout this area that are now extinct. There's actually a volcano in the city of Jackson to this day, but it is extinct. So a lot of Mississippi's landmass was created from these volcanoes, and I find it kind of interesting because they only reached up to about 400 feet, but when you go over to the Tishomingo County area, this area was created by the Appalachians, and this area reaches heights up to 800 feet. And in the Tishomingo County, you have the area where the Tennessee River meets, and the Tennessee River meets these very high rock surfaces that reach up to about 600 feet. So it's about 600 feet straight down to sea level, and I find that very interesting because it's a very rocky area, and that's actually more a part of the Appalachians. The Appalachians extended into a greater portion of Mississippi, not just Tishomingo County, but it still has the highest points of these foothills in the Tishomingo County region. Even when I was in a lower region in Mississippi, over by the DeSoto National Forest, you still get elevations of about 200 feet. And for me, being someone that's from Louisiana and living in Mississippi, it's actually crazy how different it is, because the Louisiana's highest elevation is 500 feet, and the reality of that is most of Louisiana's elevation is under 100 feet, at least in the areas that I grew up in, especially the areas south of Lake Pontchartrain. You definitely don't get above 100 feet. Whenever I was growing up, it was relatively flat, so every time I actually saw a large hill, I was thinking, oh my gosh, you know, to me, this is a mountain. So that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to address the subject on the elevation in Mississippi versus the elevation in Louisiana. I've always thought it was really funny how you can just go over a state line and then everything in that state is completely different. So now that I'm getting back onto the point of this video, in my next few videos, I'm going to be focusing on Tishomingo County, where you have a typical elevation of about 500 to 600 feet throughout most of the areas in my videos. Here in Tishomingo State Park, you're going to be able to see a lot of unique rock formations that I wouldn't have imagined existed in Mississippi. And these rock formations go down to a canyon where there's a little creek. A lot of people don't realize this is a small little canyon that cuts in the middle of the state park. But this state park is very beautiful, and it's very much worth the visit. And then you also have an area which is going to be called Woodall Mountain. It's the highest elevation in the state of Mississippi, and there isn't really too much to see, but the drive is really steep, and it's really cool to actually go to the top of this area. The next area that I'm going to be taking you to will be J.P. Coleman State Park, which is about 600 feet in elevation, and it drops directly down into the Tennessee River. And the Tennessee River is a very large river. It goes throughout Tennessee, and it goes actually throughout Tennessee in two directions, not just in one direction. And then it goes throughout the entire northern state of Alabama, and it's very cool that Mississippi shares that river. I find the Tennessee River actually very fascinating, and I feel like that's a big part of what makes this area so beautiful. It's a river directly surrounded by mountainous rock and mountainous formations. And I will be taking you to it in Alabama as well when I do my Alabama segment, and I'm sure that whenever I visit Tennessee, I will also be taking you to the Tennessee River in Tennessee. One of the things that I think is so cool is that it's more like a lake than a river. It's so wide and it has so much water, and then on top of that, it's kind of like a drainage plug for the Appalachian Mountains. Okay, well that's all for this Tishomingo County video. If you enjoyed this video and you did not know about the other locations that I mentioned, I'm leaving a link for them in the description below. And make sure to comment and tell me what you liked about this video, or if there are important facts that you didn't know about Mississippi. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this content, and also hit that like and share with your friends. If you hit that notification bell, you'll be notified every time I upload new content. And I will see y'all on Tuesday when I take you to the Tishomingo State Park in Tishomingo County, Mississippi.